Hi everyone. Today we are going to start with part 2 of NTE UGC NET December 2023 paper discussion. If you have not watched part 1, you can go back and watch that and join us here. Number 29. Which among the following acts are cyber crimes? Options are illegal hacking, ethical hacking, unleashing of malware, uploading of illegal materials, cyber stalking. Which among the following do you consider as cyber crime? This question is a part of Science, Technology and Society unit. The answer is A, C, D, E. A. Illegal hacking. C. Unleashing of malware. D. Uploading illegal materials. And E. Cyber stalking. Okay. Ethical hacking cannot be included in case of cyber crime. Alright. Number 30. Information communication technological revolution have contributed in the growth of post-industrial society through. Among these options, only A, B, C are correct. Shifting the production of tangible product to commodified ideas. B. Shifting from mechanical to digital skills, which we are all aware of in case of the technological revolution. And also commodification of ideas or commodified ideas. Alright. And finally, number C, minimization of supervision of educated and creative force. The growth of education and creation in case of information and communication technology. Number 31. Which of the following studies is the best example of comparative method? A part of research methodology and also the particular thinkers portion. Mind, Self Society, Ideology and Utopia, Suicide, the Communist Manifesto. Answer is Durkheim's Suicide or Social Suicide. We also call it indirect experiment. And remember that each of these books are important. And in case of comparative method, the best example that we associate with this research methodology is Durkheim's study of social suicide, where he used indirect experiment. Number 32. Which among the following is true about Coleridge's dilemma, which is related to regulation of technology? All the options are correct in this particular answer. Regulating a technology in the initial stage of its adoption when its potential dangers are not evident is easy. Okay. B. Regulation becomes harder by the time the dangers of technology are identified. Of course, the regulation will become more complex, more hard by the time we identify the dangers of a particular technology. C. If early regulation is applied, it may restrict further growth of technology. This is also true. And finally, number D, regulation at a more mature stage could be restrictive in its efficacy and its ability to prevent accident. In case of this question, A, B, C, D, all are correct. So our answer is option 2. A, B, C, D. Moving on. Which census introduced the category of person with physical infirmities, the blind, the deaf, and the dumb? Answer to this will be the year 1881. Okay, the first time census introduced inclusion of category of persons with physical infirmities. 34. What is the correct chronological sequence of the following books of Anthony Giddens? The Consequences of Modernity, Capitalism and Modern Social Theory, New Rules of Sociological Method, and Runaway World. You have to arrange them in chronological order, and we know that among these, first we will have capitalism and modern social theory, then we will have new rules of sociological method, then consequences of modernity, and lastly we are going to put runaway world, how globalization is shaping our lives. So this is the correct chronological sequence. B, C, A, D. Very easy question number 35. Very common question. Which book of Durkheim is a close and careful analysis of primitive religion, where he talked about totem? Moral education, elementary forms of religious life, suicide, the division of labor in society. The answer is number 2, that is elementary forms of religious life. 36. One of the main characteristics of theories in modern science is among the options a theory is always held with some tentativeness. Number 2. This is the correct answer here. Number 37. In which of the following works Marx wrote about the commodity form? Das Kapital, the German ideology, the poverty of philosophy, the class struggle in France. Answer is, of course, Das Kapital, number 1. 38. A question from kinship, or you can say family kinship marriage unit. Who among the following said the family was the outcome of male possessiveness and jealousy and a growth in property and of the sense of property? This was mentioned by Westermark. Okay, all of these thinkers have worked on this particular unit, but this idea is that of Westermark. Okay. Next, a very important quotation or statement. Just as modernization dissolved the structure of feudal society, modernization today is dissolving industrial society and other modernity is coming into being. Zygmunt Bauman, Anthony Giddens, Ulrich Beck, Jean Baudrillard. The answer to this is Ulrich Beck, and remember that a very important work of Ulrich Beck is that of society. And this particular work by Ulrich Beck, Risk Society, is also of great sociological importance. So, if you can get hold of the book, you can go through it. It's a very interesting work and one of the exemplary works of Ulrich Beck. Question number 40. The institution of education as a system of formal bureaucratic structure designed not to number 1 socialize, number 2 store knowledge, number 3 generate new system of culture, and number 4 stratify. Now, in order to answer this question, you can just apply your basic knowledge or basic sense, because the system of education will never be designed to promote stratification or take forward stratification. So, the answer to this question will be not to stratify. Education, we know, or the system as a formal bureaucratic structure, will help in socializing, storing knowledge, generating systems of culture, but not to go forward with stratification. Okay? Next, who has given the concept of time space distanciation in context of globalization and modernity? Habermas, Bourdieu, Edward Said, Anthony Giddens. The answer to this will be Anthony Giddens. 42. What are the different types of society? Agrarian, industrial, modern, hunting and gathering societies. Our correct answer here will be agrarian, industrial, and hunting gathering societies, which means option 3, A, B, and D are correct. 43. We have two statements here, assertion and reasoning. Let's read them. The average temperature have risen 0.8 around the world since 1880. It is caused massive climate changes reflected in forms of heat waves, ocean warming, rise in sea level, and glacier melting. Because the reason given here is from the time of the Industrial Revolution, the amount of carbon dioxide that humanity has produced has risen tenfold. Now, if we look at the reason, we know, of course, this is true, that post industrialization or during the time period of industrialization, there has been increased amount of or still increasing amount of carbon dioxide which is being released in the atmosphere. So here in this particular question, both A and R are correct, and R is the correct explanation of A. Assertion and reason both are correct here, and the reason is also the correct explanation of A. In question 44, we have two lists here. So let's match the thinkers and their works. Mythologies is by Levi-Strauss. Scientific Theory of Culture is by Bronislaw Malinowski. Taboo is by A.R. Ratcliffe Brown. And finally, The Structure of Social Action is by Parsons. So, number 3 is the correct answer here. Next, we have one new question. Who among the following uses the phrase anti-politics machine? The answer here will be James Ferguson, and since this is a new question, you can take a note of it. Number 46. What are the steps in planning and implementations of a rural development project? So we have to arrange this in a correct sequence. Let's start. First, we are going to go for baseline survey. After that, selection of beneficiaries. Then we are going to go for the selection of different schemes. Then we look at execution of the program. And finally, we are going to monitor and evaluate it. So here number 3 will be the correct option. BADEC. 47. We have the list of research methodologies, and here the second list comprises of the thinkers. Historical comparative method was used by Max Weber. Comparative method is by Durkheim. We just got to know about social suicide as one of the very popular works by Durkheim where he used comparative method. C. Dialectical method was used by none other than Karl Marx. Neo-functionalism is associated with J.C. Alexander. So number 2 is the correct answer here. A is equal to 3, B 1, C 2, D 4. Question 48. We again have two lists here and we have to match it. Network Society is by Manuel Castells. Liquid Modernity is by Zygmunt Bauman. Late Modernity is a concept by Anthony Giddens. And Reflexive Modernity is by Ulrich Beck. Next, 49. Imagining the Modern City is by James Donald. B, which is Postmodern Urbanism, is a work of Nan Ellen. C, Urban Question, a Marxist Approach, is by Manuel Castells. And lastly, The Death and Life of Great American Cities is by Jane Jacobs. Number 50. Which among the following are world-affirming new religious movement? Answer here will be A and B only. Okay. So we end here. We are again going to meet in the next video. All the best, everyone.